Trail Seeker Adventures heads to Track 93, a new ride park in Rivesville, West Virginia. Yes, it's a moto track, but we're here to check out the 6.7 mile woods loop. We'll run you through, let you see what it's all about. Of course, we'll get out and show you what the moto track has to offer. My friends and I had an awesome time at Track 93. Of course, I couldn't stay off the ground, so let's get right into it and see what it's all about. Last year, a father and son came together and said they needed an area for people to come ride. They came up with Track 93. At first, it was a moto track. The moto track has both an adult and a youth track. This is located in Rivesville, West Virginia. That's south of Morgantown and north of Fairmont, not too far off of Route 79. Make sure you check out their Facebook at Track 93. Want to do the woods loop? But we're here to check out the new 6.7, hey, get your crap on, mile woods loop. It's a beautiful December day here at Track 93 with hunting season still in. We didn't want to get shot, so what better place to come out to Track 93 and check out their new 6.7 mile loop. This is where you pay when you first come into the ride park. You go to the top of the hill and the trail starts on your right as you're leaving. We are a bunch of woods riders. We get out and play on the moto a little bit, but we love the woods. So that's what we're here to check out. I have AW, Devin, Austin, Mike Cheney, my good friend Bob comes later. Brody's the young one of the bunch. Even Eric got out and rode, put around a little bit. Richie. Alright, so we're at Track 93. A bunch of good friends coming out to have a good day on the track. This is the opening day on the woods loop. Got a bunch of my friends checking it out. I'm on my 2020 Beta 430RR. It's a little wet and juicy today. Mike and I have already went out and did a loop on the woods. But I would suggest the first time out on a new track, whether it's a moto track or a woods loop, take your time, get to know the track, especially on a new trail. This trail has probably only been ridden by a few guys at this point. And no matter how hard you try to get everything taken care of on the track as far as rocks, roots, stumps, sticks, like we just passed a stick right there that was pointing in the wrong direction. Make sure you get out there, keep your eye open for anything that might be, you know, not expected coming around a turn, whether it's a drop off or a root or a stump or something that you don't see. This is a very fresh track with lots of slimy topsoil mud and leaves that could be covering things that even the track owner hasn't seen. We're coming out along the side of the youth track just below the track parking. This is another location that you can come out and get onto the track. This was where me and Mike came out and got onto the track as Brody's taking the first, or his first dirt sample. But for sure, take your time out on the first loop. Eyeball, get to know the track a little bit. Keep your eye out for sticks, rocks, roots, drop-offs. You're out in the woods. We're out here cross-country racing. Even though we're not racing, we're out here whether you're practicing. This would be a really good track to get out and practice for race season. And actually, the U.S. Sprint Enduro will be visiting this complex this summer. So if you're wanting to hit a sprint enduro, you can watch my videos and see what a sprint enduro is. But they will be coming to town April 23rd and 24th. It's a 2-day event. You'll race both Saturday and Sunday. It's a full weekend of racing. Make sure you check our YouTube channel to see what it's all about, but this would be a great opportunity to come on out to Track 93, get the feel for the dirt and the layout of the property, and then come out and check out a US Sprint Enduro. We're coming into a tricky little downhill which runs down into a creek. I was going to get you the full lap, the full 6.7 mile lap, but it became a little bit too long. So what I actually did, unless it was kind of unique, I cut some of the repetitive sections out. Brody's coming down through here just fine. I'm cutting to the right, watching him not really paying attention and grab a rock, which throws me on the ground. I was on the ground a lot on this day. I did put a new steering stabilizer, as you can see it there.
That hurt.
Felt really good, but in the turns, we had several switchback turns, and for some odd reason, I just kept falling over. That had nothing to do with this go down. I basically just wasn't paying attention, watching Brody, and smacked a big old rock. I had to stop and get my forks lined back up. When I added this steering stabilizer, I loosened my forks, and I must not have got them torqued back to specs. Every time I fell over, which was many times, it seemed to jack my bars up a little bit. So I went back after this ride and tightened them up, and I didn't have no more problems with that. I had other problems, but we'll not talk about that. But yeah, I had an awesome time. It was very slimy, as you can tell. But once the topsoil gets thrown off of this track and the rocks, roots, and stumps become exposed, and the sliminess kind of goes away, it won't be nearly as slick, and I hopefully won't be on the ground as much. No, I did. Yeah, he's.
You ready, young grasshopper? Huh?
That's thumbs up. Well, we're off to explore the rest of the track. I thought I'd get in front of Brody. He's been throwing some mud in my face on some of these hill climbs. That's one of my hot lines that did not pay off. So I'll just have to eat some more of his mud. We're down next to a railroad. After this loop, I went back and got my two-stroke. Definitely felt better on my two-stroke out here on this slimy stuff. The old four-stroke felt a little heavy. And it's different when you're not up to race pace. When you're just out here trail riding, I don't know what it is. You're just not really paying attention, I guess. You're just out here lollygagging around, whatever lollygag is. Hopefully I'm not offending any lollygaggers. But when you're just out here playing around, that's when I find that I'm on the ground more than anything else. We were here on this hill, after we go back, I get my 2-stroke, and Mike and AW was coming up with a new hill climb strategy, making some optional lines. Well, the track owner, designer, trail boss, they came by and they didn't appreciate our line decisions. There's Devin trying to make a lip for AW to jump the trail. I come down not knowing what was going on. Unfortunately, I get the camera out of sequence. Mike made a line up over the hill right there. I had to hit it a couple times to get to the top. I do eventually get to the top and jump right in front of the landowner, and he says, "Hey, let's stay on the trail." Then he brought us down here to this location, and this is going to be kind of like a free ride area.
I was going to make this basically like a free ride, do whatever you want. The trail goes around it.
They're explaining to us some of their plans. AW goes to explore.
This is what we do in here. We come in this bowl here and just...
Mike Cheney's out ripping around. For some odd reason, I had no desire, which was really weird. I'm just sitting around, checking things out. AW finds this hill climb. You had to go through a mud hole, down in a dip, and then up a straight hill. Unfortunately, Cheney or Mike or AW went up it, made it look like no problem. Unfortunately, I have my camera off sequence. I thought I got him, but now I turned the camera off, come over to help Mike get his bike after doing an awesome loop out.
Caught that right there.
I don't know. Did not get the action.
That's a little steeper at the top than it looks.
Was that the problem, that stick right there?
Yeah. That and gravity.
Is that the issue? Bike flags, yeah.
He does get talked in doing it again.
You're going to do it again.
I get a lot of this footage of us sitting around BSing.
Well, hold on, let me get your beer.
So I get off the bike, I go over and get front row seats to Mike's awesome attempt of a double back loop. Unfortunately, I do not get it. Best footage of the day. Mike, so sorry I didn't get it.
Still messing with mine. I mean, there's a lot of trail left.
A lot of day left.
You would think I'd know how to operate a camera by now. He does come back and get not the same line, but he makes it. It's official.
Well, that's official. I mean, he took a roundabout way getting up there.
But it's up there. I've gotten to right.
But we throw on the goggles, we go out, and we finish the rest of the track. That's what it's all about, having good friends, people that love the ride, come out, explore, see what you can do, and this is a good place to come out. I kind of realize, or I kind of see the track owner's point of view as far as staying on the track, but we're not really the best rule followers. We get ourselves in trouble just about everywhere we go. I'm back on the 4-stroke. That was actually our next lap that we come out. I'm not going to have time to show much of the 2-stroke footage. It's pretty much the same. As I was saying, I'm not going to get you a full 6.7 miles, but I would say pretty close. Once I get into a section of the woods and it starts all looking the same, I'll cut some of it out. But if there's some cool features, make sure you know I'm going to show you. And that's one thing you need to pay attention out here. The track is not really well defined at this moment, so you got to really pay attention on the arrows. AW and I think Austin went the wrong way. I went back and got Austin. AW just decided to sit there to see if we came back through, because he went over there and found some arrows. This is another section. I missed it every time. We should have went left right there. This is a pretty cool spot. Got some rolling hills. Can't wait to see what Billy Slag and Nancy comes up with. Billy and the crew on the cross test. This is going to be an awesome location for a sprint enduro. The US Sprint Enduro is a AMA sanctioned event. You can get you a national championship out of it if you have a good season. Nothing better than having an AMA national #1 plate, so check them out and see if that's something you're interested in. It's only a 6-race series, or I should say 6-race weekend. If it's the same as last year, you'll get a credit for both Saturday and Sunday as Mike hits the deck. Mike and I was having a competition to see who could take the most dirt samples. I'm pretty sure I won that this weekend. Unfortunately, I do not get an award for that, other than sitting on a couch and recovering. The track creator said they had a little bit of everything, and this is the swampy bottom section. It's pretty muddy. After a bunch of bikes get through here, it's probably going to be interesting. This is a slick off camber section with trees, which Brody found out the hard way.
Hey, hold my bike if you can.
Pull it back and go that way.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just back it up and go down through there. That's pretty. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got left instead of that right. That's like took out a whole mile and a half. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, this is the section that
you said probably won't hold up?
yeah.
I can see that.
That there, we was sideways, both of me and Chady covered through there last time. That log back here is the one to the right. That's the one that caught his foot and about ripped his leg off.
Right at where it seems to come out of the field?
I think that's AW up there. Maybe not. Let's go. He's waiting for us.
Mike and I, as I've already said, have done a loop, and I knew we cut into the woods up here, but not paying attention, following Austin, which is his first lap. We should turn right there. Missed the track. Had to go back and get on the track, but that's just what I was saying. Your first lap out here, you should try your best in just getting to know the track. Of course, you get a bunch of racers together and you're out here, and you obviously don't want to look slow. That's sometimes hard to do.
Over in that mud section that goes along the field. Young buck got stuck against a tree.
Did it?
No.
That just hurt.
Huh? Did you go down?
I came over that hump behind him up close, and I wanted to turn to the side. Went to a rut like this, barely touching the front brake, caught a root this long, just went.
I think we all been on the road so far, other than AW. AW, you gotta join the club before the end of the.
Well, you know I will. By the end of the lap, at least. That's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've been on a lot of like existing trail as far as like maybe old logging roads, but now we're coming up into a more open woods as Austin tries to catch his balance there. And just they ran the trail throughout this open woods, which is just pretty cool. I'll let you look at some of that. I think I skip a little bit of it for time's sake. It all starts to look pretty similar. But this is a pretty cool open woods. It's still a little slimy on this side. Later in the day, we get on the other side of the mountain, and the dirt is as dry as well, it's just dry. Primo. Coming into a pretty cool little area, and once again, for some odd reason, I can't get this thing to turn, run square into a tree. Being somebody that has helped make a lot of trail, I realize how much work it takes for somebody to come out here and make a good, decent trail. You got to think about the way the property's laid out. You can't just walk through or ride through the woods and put up arrows and expect to have a good track, especially if you're going to have people invited out to ride on it. You got to try to keep it as safe as possible. But I sure appreciate Track 93 coming out here and putting the time and effort that it takes to put on a good place to come out and practice your skills, get yourself ready for race season. This area has been needing a good place to come out and ride. Property is becoming harder and harder to get access to go out and ride nowadays. So much of it is private property. People not wanting dirt bikes or four-wheelers to come out and ride. From what I understand, if I remember correctly, the bikes are going to be both Saturday and Sunday, but I think they allow the four-wheelers to come out on the track on Sunday. Here I take an upper line, slide down the hill into a tree, and then get short-legged and fall over. Just another, I mean, Cheney had every right to laugh at me because I laughed at him last time, but he wasn't laughing at all. I'm going to have to get a fan on this 430. For some reason,
Nope.
it's been getting hot when I'm just out here playing around. I have a fan on the 300, but I'm going to need to get a fan on this thing as well. I go down, turn around, and get another little more square run at it. What the video doesn't show is, yes, it is steep, but man, is it not slick. There's a root right there you gotta get up over. My bike says, hey, let's take a break.
Yeah, I think there's something going on with this thing. It gets hot really quick. I don't know.
Bike's cooled off. My heart rate is caught back up. And now it's time to get back out here and check out some more of this awesome trail. We're getting over here a little more on the dry section. As you see AW there, there's a hard section and an easy section. The hard section has some off-camber logs that you don't want to go down in there unless you know how to get over off-camber logs, because unfortunately there was somebody came up missing and they were down there and could not get out, so they had to get rescued.
There's a hard loop, but it's got a bunch of trees you got to bounce over.
AW got in a section there. I saw him even happen to push, so if AW is pushing, it must be pretty difficult. I didn't want to take the old 4-banger down in there. But the next time we came out, I took the 2-stroke and actually did get stuck on one of the logs. It's not terrible other than the log crossing, but I expect Track 93 will be coming out here making probably several different little lines like that, different options throughout the woods. But now we're up here on top of the hill. As you can see, it is open and the dirt is much drier. Traction is a lot better. It's time to open the little 4-stroke or big 4-stroke and catch up with AW. I skip a little bit of this, but I'm just going to let you watch it so I don't have to mumble throughout the whole video, but just check it out and see what cool trail this is. Coming back down in one of the mini field sections. Come across and up this little ravine, which is pretty cool. It has a couple little kickers you might want to keep an eye on. There's one. There's another little one. AW goes wide, makes it look easy. Come in a little too hot, hit a log, and guess what? Short legs again. It is just ridiculous. Definitely amateur hour for me out here.
I put a steering stabilizer on this thing. I don't
Trust
think
me, the day only gets worse.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
I think I've been on the ground more on this day and then the last 6 months of race season. Here's a little section you gotta keep an eye on. I think we missed that little exit about every time. But as I say, once the track gets a little more well defined, it's going to be easier to stay on the track. And also, once some ruts get developed, it's not going to be as bad when it's slick. And once I learn how to ride a bike, I probably won't be on the ground as much. I believe this is right above the moto, the adult moto track. We cut down over the hill. I'm pretty sure that down in there, yeah, that's the moto track down here and the parking area. Pretty cool little section, and basically you runs you up and down the side of this mountain or this hill.
Yeah, it's the steering stabilizer.
Dirt's pretty good here. There's the moto track. Don't show it all. I'll cut a little bit of this out. Make sure you check out Track 93's Facebook page to keep up with their schedule. Obviously, if it's a muddy mess, it's probably going to be closed. They were open, I'm thinking it was 9:30 to 5:30, but during the summer I'm sure it's going to change. That's, weather permitting. The moto track, obviously, they got to prep it, and if it's muddy, that's not a lot of fun if it's nasty mud. But the woods out here, us woods riders, we don't mind the mud so much. So maybe the woods loop will be open more often than the moto track. I'm not sure, but at least we have a opportunity to come out and have a place to ride. Not sure what Track 93's, end goal is. I'm sure they'll have some races here. As we're getting ready to wrap up the 6.7 mile loop. Pretty cool layout. Had a little bit of everything. The only thing I really don't see a lot of out here, other than the creek, is rocks. I'm not sure if they have rocks on this property, but if they did, it'd be cool for them to try to incorporate some rocks. Not seeing a log. There's some logs out here, but there's not that many rocks. We'll get back here to the road, wait for everybody. Then I'm going to take you down here and take you one loop around the moto track and one loop around the youth moto track.
Let me get a drink.
Alright.
This is right above where you come into the ride park. I'm not a big moto guy. I know Austin and Devin, they were out there throwing down some laps. Bob jumped on, he has a KX450. But then he rode my 430 and my 300 a little bit. He made several laps out here on the moto track. My suspension is way soft. The dirt was pretty primo. There was a couple wet spots out here on the track, but for the most part they had it tilled up. Come around for a pretty cool little uphill. Across the top and then back down. I've only been around this track probably maybe 3 times on this day. This is a pretty little wet spot through here. I wasn't too concerned about hitting the jumps. Have a pretty decent step up here into a turn. little tabletop. Well, actually, it's a pretty big tabletop, but for sure, make sure you check out Track 93 website for more information. We're going to go down here and I'm going to show you the youth track. Of course, if there's a youth on it, I would say if you're an adult bike rider, make sure you stay over on the adult track. On this day, I think they only had one little 50 down there. To be honest with you, I think they were more adults on the youth track than they was on the adult track. So maybe the track owners might need to think about that, maybe make some of the jumps on the adult track maybe a little more doable. Probably majority of the riders that come to a moto track is not necessarily experienced at a moto track. I've hit some pretty big jumps throughout the day, and I mean, if I would have got out there and learned the track a little bit, I would have jumped the jumps that were out there. I had to tighten up my suspension a little bit, but it'd be cool to have some doable jumps even for as maybe not as experienced moto guy can go out and hit. That's probably why most of the adult riders were out here on the youth track. But that's something for them to consider. That's up to them. But had an awesome day here at Track 93. Had one too many crashes, but that's just the way my day goes sometimes. But make sure you like, subscribe to our channel. We are Trail Seeker Adventures. We bring the camera out to all ride parks, race events, just so you can see if it's an event or a ride park made for you. That way you know before you can load up your bike. Make sure you like, subscribe, push the subscribe button in the middle, and thanks for watching.